I didn't wake up that day expecting anything to go wrong. Nothing dramatic happened. No bad news, no crisis, no big moment that you could point to and say, that's where everything changed. And yet, somehow, everything felt heavier than it should have. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? When nothing is really broken, but nothing feels right either. And I remember thinking later that day how something so small, so ordinary, could quietly turn into a moment where I almost found myself standing in the middle of a grocery store, trying not to cry. And at the same time, almost arguing with God in a way I never thought I would. And the strange part is, if you had seen me that day, you probably wouldn't have noticed anything at all. It started in the most ordinary way, holding a cup of coffee that should have tasted normal, but for some reason it didn't. Not because something was wrong with the coffee, but because something felt off. I was just standing there, waiting for something to change. Have you ever felt that? And I remember just standing there for a moment longer than usual, not drinking, not moving, just staring at it, like I was waiting for something to change. You ever have that kind of moment where you're technically doing something simple, but your mind feels like it's somewhere else entirely? I kept telling myself, just wake up, just start the day. It's fine. But even those simple thoughts felt heavier than they should have. I picked up my phone, put it down, picked it up again, opened an app and closed it without even realizing why I opened it. And I laughed a little, but not because it was funny. More because I recognized that feeling, that quiet restlessness, where your body is moving, but your mind isn't really present. It's like you're trying to start the day, but something inside you is still paused. And the strange thing is, nothing had actually happened. No bad message, no argument, no reason to feel that way, and yet, there it was. When I got into the car, I thought maybe changing the environment would help. You know, a little reset. But sometimes, silence makes things louder. The road was normal. The weather was fine. Everything outside of me looked exactly the way it always does. But inside, my thoughts started getting louder, not in a chaotic way, just in a steady, persistent way. Little things started coming back to me, a conversation from a few days ago, a tone in someone's voice that I didn't fully understand at the time, something small that I had brushed off, but now it felt different. Then my phone buzzed, just a simple message, nothing dramatic. If you read it, you'd probably think it was completely normal. But something about it felt different, and I can't even explain what it was exactly. Maybe it was the wording, maybe it was the timing, maybe it was just the state I was already in, but suddenly my mind started filling in meanings that weren't even there. And that's when I realized something important. It wasn't about the message, it was about everything I hadn't processed yet. And this is the part we don't talk about enough, how small things, when they come together quietly, can start to feel like something much bigger. Not because they are big, but because they don't leave space for you to breathe, and I didn't notice it happening in real time. It wasn't like a switch flipped, it was more like a slow build, a quiet accumulation of moments that didn't seem important at first, but didn't disappear either. So I went to the grocery store, not because I needed anything urgent, but because I thought maybe moving, doing something simple, would reset my mind. And for a few minutes, it almost worked. I walked through the aisles slowly, looking at things without really looking, pushing the cart, hearing the quiet hum of the store around me, and then something shifted again. Someone bumped into me, just slightly. They probably didn't even think about it after. But in that moment, something inside me said, that's enough. Not because of them, but because I had reached a point where even something small felt like too much. And I just stood there, not moving, not reacting, just standing. And that's when it happened. Not a loud prayer, not a perfect sentence. Just a quiet, honest, almost frustrated thought. God, really? Today too? And maybe that wasn't a perfect prayer, but maybe. It was the most real one I had said in a long time. Because for the first time that day, I stopped pretending that I was okay. And maybe that's where everything began to feel lighter. If you've ever had a day like this, where nothing is wrong, but everything feels heavy, just comment. I understand. This is Quiet Faith. See you next time.